Hi, this is needlepointers.com. Today I'd like to show you how to make this wonderful plaque with stamps in the design of a flag. For this plaque I used patriotic stamps in all the locations, different ones. These were darker ones, and then I used a row of Liberty Bells here and a row of other types of patriotic. Most of them are flags, but we have some other ones in here. There are even flags behind the red stripes. For this project you will need a wooden slats hanging plaque. This one's got little slats in it. It can be a solid one, or it can be one like this one. It can also be just plain, like unfinished. This one's got a little bit of stain. It was the only kind I could find like this at Michael's. So, and it's kind of important to have a hanger or have a plan on a way to hang this. So this one has a hanger built in, so I liked this one. You also need some Mod Podge, a brush, lots of stamps. These stamps are all flag or patriotic in theme, and that's why I wanted to make the flag out of patriotic flag stamps or other patriotic stamps. We also have a ton more stamps over here, as you can see, that I was sorting through. So someone donated all these stamps to me to do a project, and here's the project. So also I have some little star stickers to put on for the stars. You could also do something with the stamps, but I felt that I would probably need some little stars to put on there, or you could just leave it without the stars. The other thing that's optional is the tissue paper, and I have red and white tissue paper here and I can put that over top of the stamps to kind of give them more of a distinct red and white look for each of the stripes. That's optional. You could always leave it the way that it is, or you can put this on afterwards. Okay, to start the project, put a little bit of Mod Podge into a bowl or something to hold it. That generally is probably something that can be thrown away is the best choice. And what I'm going to do is start by putting in the stamps that I'm going to use for the blue field and the stars. So in order to do this, start putting some Mod Podge onto that area of your plaque. And you want a pretty even coat on there to hold them down. Now we're going to go over top of them also. So this is just to keep them in place while we're trying to place them. Keep them in place, and then we'll Mod Podge over top. So then start taking your stamps and placing them down onto the plaque. And you probably want to overlap them slightly so there aren't gaps. If you need to, you can even trim the stamps into shapes or whatever, or however you need them to make them look right. So I'll be back after I do a few more of these stamps. Alright, so I have the stamps that I'm using for the blue background of the star field. And next you can cover the stamps with more Mod Podge. This dries clear, so you can put it on there and it will come out clear and it will hold the stamps down. Make sure they're all sticking down and that there's not corners sticking up or anything as you're doing this. So the next section is all of the stripes, and as everybody should know, and if you don't, you can look it up, but the US flag has 13 stripes, and the first stripe is always red and the last stripe is red. So I'm going to put 13 stripes of different flag stamps and other stamps across here. They're all patriotic stamps, so I'm going to start, I'm using these stamps, these flag stamps, as the red, because I think that those have more red in them. And then these have, like this type has more white. So the idea is to put them in there, and I'm going to put them straight across, the same kind of stamp. I suggest that if you're going to do this, that number one, I had this all laid out with all the stamps to try to get an idea of what I wanted it to look like. So you might want to do that first. And then I have all the stamps in piles here. So then I'm going to start putting them across. But I want to make sure I fit 13 rows on here, because I don't want to get halfway through and figure out, oh no, I'm missing a row. missing a row. I'm going to start with the first stamps for each row so I can get them lined up, and then I can start building it across. So again, as you do this, you're going to put the Mod Podge down first on the plaque, and then put each stamp down. Now these, because I really want more of the red to show, I will probably overlap the edges a little bit more on the ones that are red, so that we get more of a red feel. So I'll be back in a few minutes after I've done the first row. Okay, so now you can see I have the flags for the stripes all lined up here, and so I can see where I'm going to put each of the 13 stripes. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And I have a red one on the bottom and a red one on the top. So the next step is to just keep adding your stamps across until you filled in the whole thing. And so to do that, I'm just going to start putting more Mod Podge down in certain areas at a time. You don't want to go too big of an area, because the Mod Podge will dry. And I am folding them around into the little divot here. So then you start adding the stamps across. I'll probably actually go, and I should be starting up top here and working my way down mostly. I was just doing that because it was closer. But it's probably a better idea to start up at the top and work your way down the whole thing. And try to make sure you're going straight across and not getting wavy. I think you can see what I'm doing here, so I'm just going to continue with this and be back when I have it all done with all the flags. So as I'm going along, I am overlapping the stamps and from one row to the next. So before I overlap the next row, I make sure I put some Mod Podge down on top of the previous row of stamps so that the next row will stick down on top. So you can see I've gotten pretty far through, and you can always, if they're sticking up or whatever, you can put Mod Podge down on them as you're going along too. You usually end up putting multiple layers of Mod Podge on at the end, so extra Mod Podge does not hurt, as long as it's not all globbed up. So I'm going to keep going here and should be back shortly. So here you can see my finished plaque with all the flag stamps on it and the patriotic stamps. I like to use these different ones in the middle here and the row of Liberty Bells, because I grew up near Philadelphia, so Liberty Bell is very patriotic for me, and I'm sure everybody else too. And I liked using these different stamps that I found that are very patriotic with the hat and the star and the USA. So you can leave it like this And I've actually gone over the whole thing at least once with Mod Podge on the top. So if you're going to leave it like this, you would do like a couple layers of Mod Podge over top of the whole thing and leave it dry at least for like 20 minutes to half an hour in between each coat, and make sure all the stamps get affixed down properly and definitely down. So the other thing we can do though is I'm not seeing the red stripes as well with the stamps, which I was kind of afraid of when I was starting this. So what I'm thinking of doing is using Mod Podge to affix down some tissue paper stripes for the red. And the flag stamps should still show through in the end. After I put the Mod Podge on, they'll show through a little bit, but they obviously won't be as obvious. So something like that. But I think that will make the red stripes stand out more. So I wanted to show what I'm doing for these strips that I've put several on here already. And what I did was I cut about 1-inch strip from the piece of tissue paper across the whole thing. And then, because it's really hard to cut the tissue paper straight, completely straight, I've been folding it under like 1/8 of an inch on the top and the bottom to try to get a more straight edge on it. So this is longer than the piece. So what I then do is put the Mod Podge down to make sure I have it nice, a wet Mod Podge on there, and then lay a piece of tissue paper down. In the location, and I can have it over the edge there, and then smoothing it out, cut off the extra and Mod Podge over top. So I have one more stripe to do, and I'll do that and be back. Alright, so there's the finished flag with the flag stamps and patriotic stamps. This can be sealed with the Mod Podge, and if you'd like, you could also put white tissue paper over top of the more white ones. I think I'm going to leave mine like this because I like seeing this way I can see those stamps more and see that it stamps. I can see the stamps through here too, so it's pretty cool. The other thing we can do is I can put some stars on to the flag field here if you want. It's up to you, again, if you want to do that. I bought these at Michael's. They're just reflective stars. You can find whatever types of stars you want. And what I would suggest is you put them on there and then Mod Podge over top. And of course you could do it in the circle or, with a lot of stars on there. I've now fixed the stars in the star field there, so you can see it. And I will also Mod Podge over top of that. And then Mod Podge over the whole thing again, one last time, and get it all finished. Here's the finished product. And you can see that I have 50 stars on here and all the flag stamps, and it looks like a flag. I really like how this turned out, and I hope that you will collect some stamps and make one for yourself. This would make a great wall hanging to display for patriotic holidays like Memorial Day, 4th of July, and Labor Day. Please click the iCard or the link in the description of the video for more photos and a photo tutorial of this project and for supplies for purchase for this project. Please click the like button, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, visit our website, needlepointers.com, for lots of other patriotic crafts and projects.